Abiola, FNSC Fellow Academy of Engineering, to handle this session. Let's appreciate him, please. I'm not seeing a lot of people clapping their hands. He will be supported by the chairman of the planning committee, Engineer Sam Otenaike, FNSC, and the MD of ACE, Engineer Sunday Kalejaye. It's your time, sir.
So only the loyalists remain. Thanks for
claiming the whole chairs,
rather stand. So we're going to do what we call CPD award.
and also the guidance
And I'm going to explain briefly what CPD award is. Every professional organization encourages continuous professional development, where people in such professions continue their learning after leaving school. The engineering that we practice today is probably much different from the engineering that learned in school. Not necessarily, even in the terms of basics, because when I was talking to people in secondary school, and I said sulfuric acid, didn't know what sulfuric acid is. They have a different name for it. And then when I told them that there were 7 planets, they said, no, uncle, there are no 7 planets, there are more. And they were naming some planets that I didn't have, they didn't exist in my mind. And when I told them that the atom was the smallest particle, and they said, no. Oh, where have you been? Have you been alive? And I said, well, that's what I got my degree on. So things change, and therefore continuous professional development is important. This award is for firms that have invested in continuous development of their staff. It's for firms that have, because most of our young engineers who work with us can't sponsor themselves, they rely on the firms to sponsor them and train them and make sure that they are continuously improving. This training takes many forms. Inside, coaching, meetings, training, and outside, we send them to courses. Several of them organized by ACEN. So this award is for those firms that have diligently invested in their staff. And it's supposed to be an encouragement to others to follow suit. There are in 4 categories determined by the sizes of the firms. The smallest firms are the ones that have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 staff. They're very small. So when a person has a small firm, 2 or 3 or 4 staff, and takes out of his own resources to train such staff, in addition to the coaching and the opportunity to work, learning on the job that is offered, he sends them to the courses. ACEN wants to appreciate such people. At the highest level, at the big firms, like those owned by our president here, and our president, this is my managing director, owned by our president, looking at me, and the COVID mask is not allowing me to see his face, but I know he's laughing behind it. The past president sitting next to him, who has very large farms. So those are the largest. So there are 4 categories: the smallest and the largest. Internationally, there are no large farms in Nigeria. Internationally, we are all small farms actually, because our place has 18,000 staff employed. So Wilson Proclaim has 30,000. I think the largest farm that I know of in Nigeria today has 100. And that 100 is not even at a sustainable level. It's usually when they have residency opportunities and they recruit more people to join them. So don't take too much of your time. I will invite the organizing committee to present the awardees, announce their names, and whatever recognition they want to make to them, while I just shake their hands, congratulate them, and encourage them to compete for it against next year, so that they can win again, so that we can say a 2-time winner or a 3-time winner. It becomes our own Oscar. Now, who's going to do that? Is it the MD or? Yes.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So for category 1, as has been mentioned by our past president, Engineer Adela, we have a tie, and I'm going to be inviting the 2 firms. In the Index Engineering Consults Limited. The second firm is Integrated Advanced Forest Engineering Limited.
Thank you very much. My name is Faye Abdulaziz, and I reside here in Abuja, and actually the philosophy is over a period of time I realized that most of the things we create excel, it brings exposure to the staff, and it helps them develop their capacity. And the only way you can go is to invest in the people around you. If you just on yourself, making money, learning this, the people around you are not there, they are not going. So my idea is to, as much as possible, within a small period of time, what organization, this people will go, this will go. And we are expanding more there, especially in the area of testing. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Congratulations. The next person. Index.
Okay. Right. If index is not here, then we move to category 2. In this category, we have GAPEC Consultants Limited as winners.
Our president is not category 2. We want to be serious. We are competing in the wrong category. This is underage. Okay, because it's as president, I'm just going to do a quick intro. What does GAPEC do? And about how much the staff and again, what relative
GAPEC Consultants Limited is an engineering consulting firm based on Florida. We do jobs mostly for the oil and gas companies and also work for government as well. The philosophy behind training young engineers is about mentorship and of course succession plan. I was just having some experience with some of our friends here what happens to most engineers is that we want to hold everything to ourselves. And the day we need someone to intervene in a situation where we're not available, it becomes a problem. But if you're able to get these young boys or young engineers on board, train them, expose them, prepare them, mentor them, and then of course you are sure that any day you're not there. For instance, I'm now the president of ACEN. I don't know what's going on today, but the work is going on. In fact, there's a project site I've not been to that site. Apart from the first day, I went for your official meeting with
for MEP consulting engineers. We've been around for the last 32 years, and we've grown from strength to strength. When you say the largest, I think we got up to 59 engineers at one time, but obviously we've scaled down a bit now because of COVID and so on. But definitely, one of our main philosophies is that we have to be trailblazers when it comes to technology. So there's no technology they're using in England that we don't have here in Nigeria. And with that technology and everything we're using, and that's why if you just take Lagos State alone, I think the state consultants have carried out completed functional minimum of 17 high-story buildings in Lagos State alone. So that's a feat for a consulting firm to be able to do that. And when I say they're high, it's not, what do you call it? It's high-rise, not skyscraper. High-rise, and high-rise starts from minimum of 10 floors right up to 30 floors, and then we'll be able to do that successfully. And one of the main reasons is that we're ISO certified. So when you're ISO certified, you have structures in place to make sure that whatever output you are given, whether it's for client A, client B, or client C, it's a consistent output. And that's one of the hallmarks of the success of the company. Lastly, succession planning. The succession planning that we just made one of our young engineers a director of the company, so that I too can behave like Engineer Deola and become chairman of our company. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. And the big fans. the real big Nigerian farm?
Yes, by size, the category 4 happens to be the biggest in terms of size. And for this category, I'd like to invite KOA Consultants Limited. Representative of KOA.
It's a pity that KOA is not around because KOA and CA are the competitors in ACEN in the same category. We used to call them M&E, now they are called MEP. You know, that's part of the transition. If you don't expose yourself, you won't know where they are. I don't know what the difference is between what they did before and what they do now. But, okay, they're not here. And KOA president, the chairman of KOA is also a past president of ACEN, and therefore one of us. Okay, congratulations to all of you. And those of you who have not started training your staff engineer, I thought you were going to be here. I mean, all of you, please, it is important that we invest in the youth. Don't worry, they might leave your farm and go work elsewhere. But they become your ambassador. They will always say, oh, they trained us in that place. Oh, you work with this person. People have left my farm and they say, oh, how did you get that job? I told them I was working with the Nigeria and they said, okay, you want to come. So please invest in your staff. Please. This is what ACEN is promoting by this award. Thank you. I will bring this section to a close.
To a close. Thank you. But when you're still here, sir, permit me to invite the president of ACEN to join you. Engineer Kado Okoroma. SNSC, JP. We are moving into the induction of new members state now. And I would also like to invite our immediate past president, Engineer Charles Yeli Akindayomi, SNSC, to join the president and Engineer Fire for the production of new members. ACEN admits new members quarterly, and that means we have 4 classes each year. We have the March, we have the June, we have the August, September, and then we have the November, December classes. The last time ACEN had the induction of the new members was probably third quarter of 2018 as the AGM. So, as of today, we have the 2018 December class, which I will call the names of the fans now, so they can step out for induction. After the 2018 class, we move to 2019 March, 2019 June, 2019 September, 2019 December, and up to 2020 September. So, for 2018, MOX Engineering Consultants Limited. IESL Doris Limited. IESL Doris Limited. KH Milk Services Limited. Klusman Associates. Funla Consult. Chieftain Consultants Limited. Victory Consult. Multibase Consulting Services Limited, Doyen Engineering Limited, AKW Engineering Limited, Invest Engineering Limited, Zwatif Engineers Limited, L2J and Associates, Johnson Consult, FN and Associates Limited. Okay, I move quickly to the June class. Fuse Engineers Limited, Arrows Engineering Nigeria Limited, Building Services Design Consultants, Esther Silverman Global Limited, Tamsodic Nigeria Limited, Abdas Consults, Sapete Engineering Limited, Taurus Links Engineering Limited, Cropens and Co Nigeria Limited, Ahmed Consulting Engineering Limited. September class, Yaya Energy Solutions Limited, Transglobal Environmental and Engineering Limited, Anchor Engineering Limited, Pro Excel Civil Engineers Limited, Polar Global Consultant Nigeria Limited, Jopac Engineering Limited, VC Consulting Services Limited. Then I move to the December 2019 class. Farmers Global Consulting, Quebec Integrated Services Limited, Terracon Engineering Company Limited. Jadio Senior Resources. Was that happening today? Yeah, today. African Consulting Engineering and Management Partnership Limited. Bentley Adams Nigeria. Bentley Adams Nigeria. Leopold Engineering Services Limited. Ecopills Engineering Services Limited. Archive Associates Limited. Then the final batch, which is Franco's Engineering Solution Concepts Limited, Roland Adeomi and Partner, Colpacol Engineering Limited, Gazalfa Engineering Limited, Basfa Global Consult Limited, Ivory Link International Nigeria Limited, Bradfield Engineering Consultants Limited, and lastly, Sandmarsh Consultants. Mr. President and past presidents, I have here the new members that attended between December 2018 to date for induction. We have here packages for each firm as the ACEN. Okay. This watch Global Consults Limited.
Gentlemen, welcome. Let me stand where you can see me, so that you are not having to look back. Gentlemen, welcome to the ACEN family. Some of you are new to the family. Some of you are old. You've always been part of us. Maybe you haven't established your part. For instance, the first person to be called, maybe you didn't recognize him, is the immediate past president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. That is the biggest engineering society, engineering society. And I think it's the biggest professional society. Engineer Mokolo. You are welcome. You are first from the regulator of the regulated now. Now, you are the one who could dismiss me from NSC. Now we can evaluate him whether he has qualified something that kind of welcome. But ACEN is a very serious organization, and it's important that I address it. ACEN is when you look at the engineering as a business, it has very many levels. It has artisans, it has craftsmen, it has contractors, it has builders, it has manufacturers, it has teachers, it has lecturers, it has engineering salesmen, it has very many. But ACEN's uniqueness is that it is concentrating on the business of consulting engineering. You run a consulting engineering practice, and you get your fees, and your livelihood is derived from your fees as a consulting engineer. That's what ACEN is. ACEN is not a form of consulting. They are important and they are part of engineering. ACEN is not a form of artists. Over the years, it was not established by government, it was established by practicing engineers who felt that collectively we can establish the highest standard of engineering, of consulting engineering in the university. So, ACEN therefore prescribes a high standard of engineering to each and every one. One of the most important qualities of engineering is ethics and integrity. ACEN doesn't want to find its members caught up with bribery, with corruption, with inflation of contracts, with taking bribes from contractors. Ethics is important for us. In fact, it's perhaps the most important. Professional competence is extremely important for us. We all know that engineering is very serious. An engineer should not take on a responsibility that he cannot deliver. It's not all electrical engineers who can do all electrical work. It is left to the judgment of the client to determine what we can take on so that it doesn't take on more than we can pass. One, integrity. Two, competence. It's important. So please take this. Continuous development. You can say that we just rewarded the farm for continuous development. Because we are persuaded that it's only by continuous development that we can meet the two obligations of integrity and competent delivery of work. So I welcome you to the family and I congratulate you on this, and I'm hoping that you will make your own contribution. So ACEN as a family, that in future years we will be in the place that we are standing now and you will more in this place. And that ACEN will benefit you. You know where Nigeria and always pray. ACEN will benefit you. Amen? Amen. Congratulations. Congratulations. And welcome to the family. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our President, Engineer Dr. Okoroma, the immediate past President, Engineer Charles Yede Akindayomi, and Engineer Bayo Adiola for a good job well done. Yes, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much once again, Sars. We are off to the last item, almost the last item, so we're almost rounding up. I'd like to bring a few things to our notice. This event is being streamed live on official ACEN Facebook page. And I would also like to let you know that all the presentations from today's event are available on ACEN website on www.acen.org.ng. So you can go there, download, and follow. Thank you. So we're moving to the second technical session. And very quickly, I'm going to invite the chairman of the session. He's done a whole lot today. He just left here, and I'm inviting him back here. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the past president of ACEN, Engineer Bayo Adiola, FNSC Fellow Academy of Engineering, who will be chairing this session. Please, sir, once again, would like for you to come up. Can we put our hands together for him? I'm also going to call up once again the president of ACEN, Engineer George Okoroma, FNSC JP. Please, sir, you're welcome. Please can we encourage our president as he comes up. The next paper presentation is going to be on the role of young professionals in a recovering economy. That is going to be taken by Engineer Ibrahim Buga. I'm going to take his CV. Engineer Ibrahim Buga is a civil engineer with over 20 years of experience in professional services delivery, with specialization in highway design, construction, and more recently, road maintenance and management. A graduate of the University of Birmingham, UK, MSc 2008, and Ladybello University, Zaria, BND Civil, 1998, and University of Abuja, postgraduate diploma in computer sciences, 2012, respectively. Engineer Buga has also attended several short professional development courses, including a recent QDIS program by the Central University of Karnataka, India, in July 2020. At Kabir and Associates, Engineer Buga started as an assistant consultant and subsequently became a partner and director with operational and technical leadership, which contributed to the growth of the firm. Within a little over a decade, he successfully delivered various federal and state projects. Notably in 2010, he led a team of professionals to the successful delivery of the World Bank financed Royal Access and Mobility Project, RAM Phase 2, prioritization studies for the 5 northwestern states of Nigeria. Engineer Buga founded the TDC in 2011 as a startup in preparation for participation in international development aid projects. Subsequently, TDC collaborated with the UK-based Transport Research Laboratory, TRL, with its participation in the implementation of projects in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. Engineer Buga was an active member of the roads team under the UK Department for International Development, supported Nigerian Infrastructural Advisory Facility NIAF2 initiative in the introduction of road access management system as part of a broader institutional reform of the Nigerian road agencies. He was also a trainer on pavement management system software, Road Data Manager, RDM Malawi, under the European Union supported project in Malawi, implemented by TRL Limited, UK. While executing the famous runway rehabilitation of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in the spring of 2017, Engineer Buga provided team leadership to a consortium of supervising consultants leading to the successful completion of the project earlier scheduled. The timely delivery of this important national project attracted a commendation letter to Engineer Abuja by the President of the Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineers. The hunger for best practice in professional services attracted Engineer Abuja to the Association for Consulting Engineering in Nigeria-ACEN group of member association of FIDIC, GAMA, and the International Federation of Consulting Engineers, FIDIC, conferences and activities. He became the pioneer vice president of ACEN Young Professionals Forum, YPF, the second Nigerian alumnus of the famous FIDIC Young Professionals Management Training Program, and one of the pioneer members of GAMA YPF Steering Committee. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together as we receive upstage Engineer Ibrahim Boga, NIC, NIC, and NICE, NIHT. Can we do it better, please?
They're trying to put up this presentation on the screen so that we can follow it. Just a little bit about Engineer Abuja. Engineer Abuja and I came a long way when was doing some of the things that we regularly see. But by the time we found the time and started making the money, we left it got to take time. But that is a pleasant thing because that is about investing in the future. Because as they were reading it, I could not but feel fulfilled, happy and proud of him for what he has been able to achieve. He was a young engineer when I met him several years ago. Now, they are accomplished and we practice it in Africa. It's a message to all of us, all of you, as to what you can do if you acquire competence across the field. There's the technical competence that makes you good at area of skill or science of cable or design of pipe, it's for engineering. But there's also the one that you feel in reaching out and creating a network in which you play. Where whether it's European Union, whether it is an African effort, we went on and TD, government, and all of this. What Engineer Abuja has achieved today is a combination of all of these factors. One road does not get you there. The road of technical alone does not get you there. The road of management alone does not get you there. The road of networking alone does not get you there. You need a combination of the technical, the management, the leadership, and the network to succeed. Remember, we at ACEN are in the business of consulting engineering. So we will not be able to help you to drill down on your technical competence. We will not make you a better designer of plans. We will not make you a better designer of software, whether it is electrical, MEP, whatever. That you owe to yourself, and you owe it to all the people you employ, that they keep abreast. It's not just when you're ready. I'm not making it. I'm just putting it straight. You know, I don't know how to do comedy. I won't do comedy. So please, don't make sure that you abreast of your technical condition. But it is not sufficient. It is not sufficient. You have to acquire management. You have to acquire leadership. You have to build a network. You don't get a job, you can't do it.
as well, and a father, and somebody I always looked up. I mean, as far as profession is concerned, and more especially discipline. Thank you, sir. What I'm going to talk about today is the role of young professionals, as mentioned. The young professional said I should come with a message to the conference. And surprisingly, our father, Engineer Bayola, what he said was a summary of my paper. Could you believe it? Please clap for him. Okay, next please. Talking about the structure of my talk, just to make it simpler to actually follow, after introduction, I decided to separate it into two parts. Part one is the preparation, and the second part is the action and what results are we expecting. Because when we say the role of young professionals, Engineer Bayo has already said something very interesting, which is the key as far as this talk is concerned. When I look at the role, I know you cannot deliver any role when you are not prepared. And that's why I started with the preparation issue. And as he said, it is not the issue of somebody making you, it's your own decision. It's your own decision to become what you want to become. I'm also learning, he might probably exaggerated, I'm still a student under him and the rest of you. So under part one, I'm going to look at what support are we expecting from government. I mean, to make a conducive environment for firms to thrive and young professionals to get the preparation they need. Then, what investment is required by the leadership of professional service firms? Then, the young professionals. Don't think because the government is there, your firm is there, they will just make you a professional of your desire. You have responsibility to deliver yourself to the promised land. Then, having prepared, what contribution are we expected from a prepared young professional, not just any young professional? Then, from that contribution, we expect results. Next, please. Okay, introduction. When we say recovery, obviously we know something has happened. We are all in this country and in this globe of ours. We were aware of the impact of COVID-19 crisis on national economies, not only Africa, but across the globe. It created fear and social distancing, leading to lockdown. And you know, we had almost 6 months of paralysis in terms of economic activity. We lost our revenues, and that's why we are talking about recovery. Before then, the economy of Nigeria was still moving with a snail speed. So it has been, the COVID-19 just added the fuel to the fire. So these professional services firms like ours, where the young professionals are actually is their own domain. Do we have a role? Yes, we have, because we are a knowledge-based service delivery, and we normally conceive projects, we design, which these projects are mostly capital intensive. And financial services and management, legal services, education, like account, they are all under professional services terms. But we know what we are actually focusing on is our own, which is the infrastructure. And I think it is taking the largest share in terms of economic impact. So, under the professional services firms, we have those described as young professionals. And who are they? According to FIDIC, they said engineers, architects, planners, or those in allied professional staff of feeding member firms who are within the age bracket of 40 and below. You know, obviously I'm not one of them. I used to be. So these young professionals, at this stage, I want to deliver the message. I'm very happy today because this is not a young professional setting alone. In fact, if I may ask, how many young professionals do we have here? Please. I think I can see only 4, 5, 6. That's good. I didn't expect this number actually. I didn't expect it. Why? Because most of the time, the focus is on the leadership, the senior guys. Most of the time when we come to conferences, you don't see us. Why? Because we depend on the leaders. Next. Okay. What is government expected to do to help us to have a conducive environment to nurture people who were expecting to contribute to our national economy? We know in our country, and most countries in Africa today, the emphasis is on paper qualification. That's why people are going to any extent to buy WAEC results, even to universities. We have even had a case in Nigeria where a professor was caught with a fake result. So we tend to look at education as something to do with paper and say, I am Dr. So-so and so, Professor so-so and so, but what do you got to deliver to us? Is education just on paper? So the government needs to really focus on that and emphasize the need for functional research that is marketable and implementable. We also need to teach ourselves entrepreneurship. Just like what the Barabella said, it's not just about engineering. You need balance. And I can tell you, even accounting I'm reading now, not only engineering. Then this reward for innovation. We are in a country where those people who are the filmmakers, who are in the film industry or who are even at the federal level, you see someone with skin color simply because he's wearing a white skin color. You don't even know who he is, but you give him, you accord him the highest respect. And you want to give all your job to them when you have people who can actually deliver it. And when do you expect your people to grow? When? That's why the rest of the world will be looking at us and laughing and saying, what are these people doing? They are call on people who are not even professionals just because of their skin color. So this is something that we need to take into cognizance. Next, please. Then, what is expected from leaders of professional services firms like ours? You know, it's just like when you have children, if you expect them to grow by themselves, you should know the type of future you are creating for yourself. That is why I used to say, and I want to send a message to our chairman and the president of ACEN, that we need to take issue of YPF seriously. Oftentimes, as you can see now, it's the last lecture. The people we have here are those who are really passionate about knowing, and I think they are the wisest ones. Because this talk is not about the young professionals alone. Those wise orders of firms, they need to listen to what we are saying. If you don't develop the young ones, you know what the future is going to be. It's obvious. So, if I ask now, this issue of goals, vision, and mission, of recent I've done a lot of research on it, and I'm surprised to see that they are even talking about brain cells being developed when you establish a goal. All your energy, the forces of nature will move you towards the goal. Surprisingly, and I'm not talking to any one of you, there are so many of us here. If you ask them, what is the goal that you set for yourself when you establish the firm? I bet most of us will be thinking about, I will get some money, do this, at the end of the day. But if you chase money, you will lose everything. But if you chase professionalism, money will follow you. Then we need to define our goals, vision, mission, and culture. We cascade it down so that every member of the firm is aware of the journey, is aware of where we are going. If people are just coming to the office and going back, they are not in tune with your mission and goals. So the firm has to. Then we need to have a transparent and equitable path to growth and prosperity. If I know day one when I start, if I work hard, this is where I am going, I will put my mind to it. But if I realize that somebody is only there to use me and just dump me at a certain stage, then you cannot fool everybody all the time. And you see that people will leave you when you least expect. Then that will lead us to be sensitive to the growth of our people, because it has been established, whether in consultancy, any industry, it's about people who are driving it. It's not about systems alone. Then the mentorship has to be organized, internally and externally. Then we need to have sustainable business systems. I just brought a word called entrepreneurial seizure. I don't know whether it's a new word to some of us. I came across this word from a person who was in research about small businesses for over 30 years, the person of my Gava, and he wrote one simple book, very interesting for people who are in business. The name of the book is called E-Myth Revisited: Why Small Businesses Are Failing and What you can do about it. I was surprised reading it to realize that I'm just beginning to start something. And when I look at it, when he analyzed businesses from infancy to adolescence to post-adolescence, I now looked at our member firms, and I bet you they are in a category that is not very good. So I'm recommending that people should look for the book and read it. It's very revealing. What does it mean? It's somebody like Engineer Abuja, he knows how to design a road, simply, or he knows how to construct a bridge, and he feels that is enough for him to run a business. So that part is called the technician part. He needs the entrepreneur and the other aspect for him to move that business. But there is tendency for him to be falling back to that technician part all the time. And the business will be suffering, and you'll be thinking, well, what is actually happening? Then this is all about business systems. In fact, if you read that book, there are several information and several books about that, but I think that's very good. And you realize it is not something that is not impossible. It is something that is possible. When you have sustainable business systems, even your workers, they know. And let me just tell you something that you know. Even the government officials that give you a job as a consultant, they know the serious ones. And they know those ones that they can maneuver and get something from them, but they will not call them when the chips are down. So if you establish yourself, even with leg or connection, what have you, they know those who are really serious. They will always follow you because you are dependent. Okay, next. Okay, so this investment by leaders of professional services firms will culminate to what I call talent management. And talent management is all about attracting, retaining, developing and utilizing talents for the benefit of organization, its employees, and humanity. What does it mean? It's just that you need to sit down and look at and design a system how you are going to develop your talent. It's not just about the younger ones coming. Sometimes you can even bring experienced ones, but you have to have a process. That process that will work. So if a young professional is working under this kind of arrangement, you know he's actually being prepared to play a role which is expected of him. So the talent management is for staff and for client service. It will also enhance the growth and prosperity of firms, and directly or indirectly to affect everything and everyone within the firm. It will help in sustenance of industry lifeline. Why? Because if the business is going properly, everybody benefits. Then it also aligns with competitive advantage and service delivery. So a firm will be known by the way the firm is. Okay, next. Okay, assuming the government has done its role, the leaders of your firm have done theirs. You see, there was a time when some leaders are saying the youths of today are actually lazy. And going by the NSAS protests, we can see we are a judge to what has happened. People looting, all in the name of NSAS. Or the first thing that if I meet someone and start complaining about his boss, about the weather, about the government, I know it's not serious. Nobody is responsible for you. You have to be responsible for yourself. And I remember what L. Nightingale, one American, said about law of compensation. He said, to be compensated, you need to have three things. One, demanding what you do. This can be a business or a human being. Is there demand in what you are doing? Then the second aspect is your ability to deliver that demand. Then the third aspect is difficulty in replacing you. So you are somehow becoming indispensable. Why? Because you have the ability. I used to ask people, which one you have control over all these three? And I guess it will be the middle one. Because you are the one that will develop yourself to have the ability. The rest will just follow. If you have ability, it's not just ability to design road or design building or construct building. Your communication skills, how do you deal with people? All those things add up to what we are talking about. So on this note, I said the young professionals will start with what I now point to call basic goals. Young professionals should have goals. I'll just tell you a little bit of my own history. When I finished about to start service, and in this very Abuja, I was staying in my brother's house, and they used to give me everything. And I was just eager because I just left an attachment that I did immediately after I left school. And I felt that, I don't like this kind of life. Sitting there, eating food, going. Then I now take a pen and paper and say, this is what I want to do. Professional goals, spiritual goals, social goals, and I started. Since then, I didn't stop. Each year I revised them. But at a stage, when I became a bit red, then I know that goals, you can't do without them. And this is something I just coined for understanding. Because when you say seed, it's something you plant. And you need a goal for your success. So S is for service. Everything we are doing in this world is service. We serve God, we serve our parents, we serve our clients, we serve everybody. We serve ourselves, our families. So those goals, then you now define them. Typical of them is personal development. How do you want to take yourself from point A to point B in becoming a productive one, or somebody useful to society? Then if you define a service goal, you need education. And this education is not just about reading. No. You need knowledge and skill to be able to actualize the goal you set for yourself. Then you also need what? An effort. This effort are daily efforts. You are better than them because you know how to lead your life. Life without goals is meaningless. Next, please. The young professionals, you have to be responsible for your personal development. Nobody will do that for you. The first important one is positive mental attitude. I found this to be very amazing because, as they said, once you lack the attitude, and they said your thoughts, daily thoughts, will culminate to become an attitude. And that attitude is, first, there are people who always think negative. There are people who think positive. There is a book written about mindset. It is actually describing this category of people. And you can easily meet them, whether they are colleagues or people you just meet. The moment you start talking to them, all they remember is negative. Just negative. Say, no, this town, somebody will even catch traffic. Somebody will even say, this computer is so and so, or this phone. So those people are not ready. But you need to have positive mental attitude. That whatever situation you are in, you'll be able to manage yourself. And Napoleon Hill called it the QPMA. He said the quality and the quantity of your service plus mental attitude will take you far. Then we need communication skills. These communication skills are categorized into three. One, something like we are just doing now, passing a message, delivering papers, doing what have you. But remember, negotiation is there. And negotiation is every day, everywhere. With your family, with your colleagues, people you meet in the shop, everybody. You need negotiation skills. And you need communication that you write to people and say you want this and you want that. You have to communicate properly. Then the technical capacity, as was described by our elder, Jabaya Yola, is obvious. You need to be at the top of your game. And it is possible. People are just being lazy. They want to scratch, you know? And if they see you trying to do the best, they say, this guy is, they'll call it in the house of the school, they say you are Bature. Or they say, this person is so, he's always being strict, so, and so. Just because you want to do the best. Don't listen to them. Do your best. Yes. Or they will say you are being too technical, or what have you. Then something I found very interesting is the issue of personal finance. It affects all of us. It's a knowledge that nobody teach you in school. And you realize that you'll be in your 60s. You don't know how to manage yourself financially. There is a whole lot of issues about that. And you see people getting salary, some getting things from their firms, spending it, waiting for the next one. That's how the life will end. So we have to go and learn this properly to be able to prepare and give value to society. Then discipline. Discipline, like I said, all of us, whether we like it or not, we know those people who are highly disciplined, they are also highly successful. Why? I remember Brian Tracy in his book, No Excuses. He said, discipline is the ability to do what you need to do, when you should do it, whether you like doing it or not. You realize that you have to go for walk. I mean, to go and jog or go and get your health, or a work you are supposed to do, you are supposed to design, you are supposed to write a report. Somebody will just be dragging, procrastinating, lack of discipline. When you have all of this without discipline, nothing will happen. Next. Continuing education. You see, like I said, we are talking as if our father Engineer Bio knew exactly my paper. You see, it's talking about continuing education. A young professional, you have to attend conferences. ICANN conferences and courses. FIDIC. In FIDIC, there is a future leaders management training. It used to be called Young Professional Management Training Program. I attended one in London. I'm there by the side with a group, and proudly, Engineer Bio was one of the mentors that year. He's a facilitator in that course. That was in 2009. And Philip conferences, we have attended some Gamma conferences, then useful books. This is where we are failing now. People say they don't want to read anymore. They said it's because of TV, because of social media, WhatsApp, what have you. Say they don't have time to read. If you don't have time to read, you don't have time to prepare, and you are not ready to deliver value. You will be amazed to see the depth of knowledge hidden in books. That's why you see those who are really wise, they will read and write books. And we thank Engineer Bio for spearheading it here at ACEN. But now we don't even do it. So how comes our kids, how can they do it? We don't do it at home. I will just give you an advice. Something that we used to do with my family. We have what we call hikmah hour. Hikmah in Arabic is called wisdom. So we used to slate 1 hour, and all of us will sit down and be reading a book. We'll continue daily. We have that 1 hour. And they know now you have other options. If you don't want to carry a physical book, you have audio ones that you can be listening in your car. Because they used to say, if you want to hide knowledge to a black man, write in a book. It's becoming reality here. It's becoming a reality. We're allowing them to really authenticate their proposition towards our behavior. I'm telling you, please go back to books. And these books are not just about engineering books. No. Personally, I read psychology books. I also read accounting. I read negotiations. I read even English. I'm still learning. So if you read books, in fact there is a book written about how to read a book. So you can imagine that. So when we got that book, we all stopped what we are reading. Then we turn to that book until we finish it. And you'll be surprised to see that you used to think that you know how to read a book. By the time you started, you know that you still have a long way to go. Okay, then we have multimedia resources now. These multimedia resources, we all know them. You just go to YouTube, anything you want to do. You'll be something surprising. During this lockdown, I have 2 children, boys. One is about 13, one is 10. And I said, what apart from the reading, you need to learn some skill. They said, okay, they want to start coding. And we found something about Python. And you'll be amazed the depth of resources that are out there for you. Before you know what is happening, right in your home, you have reached another level of education and skill that you don't need to. So let's just really utilize the multimedia sources that are there to develop ourselves. Next, please. Okay. If you remember the structure I talked about, I said after the introduction, the issue of COVID, how COVID brought us to where we are, I said young professionals require to prepare for them to reach where they are. And that preparation actually is a support from the FEM, from government, from the FEM, and the responsibility of young professionals themselves. So now, with some of the roles, this is not exhaustive actually. It's just some of the ones I can remember, the ones I know. You know better actually. If you look at it, young professionals, as we define them, they are existing future leaders. I say existing. Why do I say existing? Because they are. They are going to be the future leaders, whether you like it or not. In the 70s, I was in primary school. Here I am today. Even our own president was born somewhere. So The future leaders, they are real future leaders. So they are the ones who are actually going to give this role. Energetic and adventurous team players, yes. I knew how I have been to bushes. If you ask me to go back now, I don't think I can do it again. Even though I like doing it. But what I mean, the adventure will diminish as you grow. So when you have young professionals, they don't fear anything. And those ones who are wise ones, they are ready to go anywhere to deliver any project. So they have a role. When they do that, you know what it will happen to the economy. But if you have things that nobody is willing to take, everybody will say, no, I'm a big man, I'm a general, I can't do this, I can't do that, then who will do it? So young people, if you use them properly, they can deliver. Courageous, a kind of courageous project delivery also is related to the energetic adventure. You see, as you grow, what I realize about engineering, as you grow, you can do less. What I mean by less, in terms of volume of work, but your wisdom, the moment you look at it, you say, here, you correct there, because, but if you refuse to do it at the beginning, when you grow, you become big for nothing. I remember when I started, my wife realized I'm working too hard. She said, why are you working too hard? I said, I want to become an engineer. She said, what are you? I said, I'm just starting. I want to become an engineer. Then we know these young professionals, they are also good soldiers of project implementation. Because the seniors are generals, you know? They are the ones who give the strategy, arrange what to do. But who will do the job? They are young professionals. So they are critical to our economy. If we don't prepare them well, then we know the type of things we are expecting to get. Then, innovative trends research. What I mean by this research, you see, most of the senior ones will not have time to be following about what is happening, except those who are wise enough to be attending conferences internationally. If you have young professionals, you see the way they are very good with technology. They can easily go to Google businesses and they find out what is the current status as far as the industry is concerned. So that will also help and help their delivery in our economy to rebound. Use of technology tools in project implementation. These technology tools are also synonymous to young professionals because it will help you to know what are available for you to use right now. Optimal utilization of social media. Let me warn all of us. It's surprising now, even some who are more senior. You see somebody who works the whole day reading WhatsApp or any message that comes, even you will just look at it and check. So, and if you are not careful, the young professional using your phone will be wasting their time in all those things. Personally, if I get to the office, I shut down my phone until the hour I want to stop. Then I have time for reading WhatsApp messages which are important, not junk ones anyway. Then software and phone applications, there are so many now that are usable to firms. Young professional will pitch those things for you and will assist you. One of them that I found very interesting also is this handheld GPS. When we started road reconnaissance surveys, in those days, late 90s, I can say, we use vehicles. Then that's how we measure the distance. When we move from one point to another, it can only measure 100 meters, anything in between. And the moment you reach somewhere where there is a river or anything, you can't do anything now. But with this handheld GPS, and the surprising thing now, there are many apps. You don't even need to buy the physical one. You can use this to get your tracks and convert them to know all and document everything about your road. And even put them in GIS or maps and what have you, which you can't do before. You can even use your waypoints, transfer them into computer before you go to site, and you can even trace them where you are going. Use of drones. Like when we are starting, I was reminded about time, we wanted to talk more about the this technology thing, but I realize it's a lecture of its own. But I just want to remind you that drones are now being used in surveys, in reconnaissance surveys and actual surveys, in inspections of bridges and difficult areas. People are sending drones to do that for them. Finally, I just want to tell you that decision to move forward is yours. It is possible. You see, I had a picture of that was given to me by Engineer Mayor Adetiba. I think she was supposed to be the chair of this. She presented this to me in Zambia. That's in 2012, and Livingston, after a paper I presented. Why did I say so? Look, I'm being proud, but I just want to tell you, at where you are now, you can go anywhere, you can be anywhere, as long as you believe in yourself. You don't want to be lazy, and you also look forward to mentorship, people like our Engineer Bayo and the rest of them, Engineer Ogumbai, all of them. At the end of the day, sky is your limit. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you very much, Engineer Oga. At least you kept all of us away. It's not easy to listen to people here. But the more important thing is the richness of his presentation. He just kept on sharing his own personal experiences, the book he has read, the places he's went, what he practices at his firm, what he does. So he didn't go to the internet to copy the technology. He was copying from there. Too many times when you tell people to write a paper, they go on the internet and they download. And they are telling you what happens in Asia, what happens in America. But he was starting from the heart. Congratulations and thank you very much. Like I said, with people like him, for me, the future is guaranteed because let your servant depart in peace according to thy will. Now that my eyes have seen salvation. Okay. So, there is a room in the program for discussion of his paper. What he has called Young Professionals Forum, even FIDIC has migrated. We now call the Future Leaders Forum. In other words, from now on, it's going to be Future Leaders Forum. And FIDIC is also going ahead to start certifying engineers with FIDIC certification. It's in the pipeline now, it's being grown. And by early next year, you're going to have FIDIC give a certification as part of a continuing education program. But the intention is not for the chairman of the session to monopolize, it's to invite people to make this work. Time is past 10, it is 4:20. So I will start with maybe 5 people to make comments. And if they don't take a lot of time, we can take a lot of time, take a lot of time. Any comments, questions? Yes, I was very far up there. That is one answer I can see.
Chairman, my name is Tayo Awunga. I'm highly impressed with the lecture, with the way the guy actually dissected how he grew up to be a consultant. One thing I'm clear about, judging from my own past experience, is that when I wanted to start too, I had to write a position paper. That position paper in 1987 was about introducing maintenance management consultancy into the consulting profession. I did that with Lincoln Associates, and that was why I was employed at that time. Unfortunately, I started it, but along the way, some of the partners were not really keen on moving it forward. I have my papers, I've gone very far about it. The one thing is clear, that for us to move forward the way he has said, I remember I joined the American Society of Engineers in 1988. And one of the things I found very interesting is that anytime I get papers from them, they always talk about liability issues when consultants design and they pay. And that liability issues also, the way they put it, makes people who are not competent to carry out the job to go into that job. Since you don't want to fail, there are consequences for your failure. So it helps to develop the practice of consulting engineers. One thing is clear also, that by virtue of geography of where we were born, of our fathers and our parents, it helps us to be good consulting engineers. Because if you look at it, the way Nigerian naira is valuing, it's very difficult to keep an engineer. Because you have to rent the house, you have to look at his age, eventually you get married, you miss a car. All those things contribute to people not really to be key. And the way the projects have been awarded, I remember in 1993, when I was doing the federal secretariat, one thing was clear. The then person in the government, don't mention it, gave a contract to a copper to do the law school. And at the end of the day, all the coppers that were around us, that were all studying under us, were not really interested. They were just playing the copper, and they got the contract, and before we know it, they were not ready to work with us. So the way also the policy of government and everything is also
our experience as the present president for Future Leaders Forum of ACEN. Most times when we have events or programs for future leaders to come to, we find out that there's a lot of distractions. Sometimes there isn't, they don't, some people forget that you notify them severally about an event. We've had instances where we've had to start calling on the day of the event, and you get different kind of excuses. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I'm going for a wedding. Oh, I'm in a bus to somewhere else. So, Engineer Abuja, how does that tie into that role of a young professional? If distractions, I know you talked about goal setting, you talked about a number of things, and how to avoid social media and the likes. How can this be tied into that role of a young professional such that his ability or her ability to concentrate, because the work of a consultant has more to do with intuitive thinking and technical stuff. And if one is not able to concentrate well in this regard, there's a tendency to have even the liabilities that have been spoken about come into play for even the firm that he or she is working with. How can this be used? How can the young professional be drawn in line so that his role in this economic building or this recovering economy that we're talking about can be felt? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so much, Engineer Abuja, for that very insightful teaching. My name is Benga Ajayi, and I'm the managing partner at Abuja Associates Limited. One of the principles of the company, which we've always had since we started, was training young people. And this comes out of the experience I had when I finished school in 1988, and everywhere I went to look for a job, they asked me for 5 years working experience, which I wasn't going to get unless I started a job somewhere. And there was nowhere where I was going to get a job. And because of that, I made up my mind that by the grace of God, if I ever have or get into a position in life, I was going to focus on the young people rather than looking for 5 years experience. And the experience so far has been so good. There's no one in my office. There's not one person in my office that didn't have to start working like in the office there. Most of my staff are people who never worked before they came to join us. And we took the risk, had to train them. And training has always been both within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Within Nigeria, so that at least they understand all that they need to know about the systems here. Outside Nigeria, for them to be able to have confidence building, because that's what we feel. And we've attended quite a number of courses, even together where I sat in class with the young engineers. And this has been quite eventful. Not everybody has been as lucky as I am, because there are people who keep complaining that you just train an engineer for like a month, and the next thing is that you have already gone to register a company with backend, and it's already competing with you. And people feel that when they put in a lot in training, which of course we all know is quite expensive, that eventually the engineer backstabs. This is what I hear people say. But in our own case, I've observed one thing. If we're training engineers, we're not training engineers for our farm only, we're actually training the engineers for the nation. Because engineering is development, and if they are not trained, that there will be no development, then we will not have made impact in our nation. So I feel that in all the lectures that you have given, since more senior people listen to your message than the young professionals themselves, and most of the things you said was advising the young professionals who happen not to be here at this moment, just about 5 of them you counted. I think for us to speak among ourselves as senior people also, we cannot relent in training young engineers. Otherwise, there will be no future for engineering, and of course, no future for the country that is expecting us to be able to develop this country. This nation is still called a developing nation, and this is where we are supposed to make impact. If we jump into developed nations, there's not much impact to make anymore. So I'd like to say thank you so much for this beautiful message. I want this message to be posted on the forum of the young future leaders, which I know you have. Please post it to them so that they can also read, and they will be able to understand all these that have helped you to be able to get to the point where you are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Michael for National Consultant Limited. I really thank you for your illustrative words, encouragement, and advices and experience that was shared. When I was going through your profile, I saw that life opportunity comes to your way, which also helped you. My question though is that what is the plan for ICAD? Because I do respect, I'm very happy to see our fathers here spending their time relating each other. It's highly commendable, knowing their career. And our president said successor plan. What is the plan for ICAD for the youth to take over the leadership, or is there any plan towards it? Then the other question, how does life opportunity come to you? Although you said something on service, education, and development, all those things. But I discovered that life opportunity locates you. So what was the secret? And the third one, what keep you going? I saw that you are very energetic and focused in life. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm not trying to answer the question. My name is Krasaki Dero. I'm not trying to answer the question about, you said life, what did you say again? You said life opportunities, but he has already mentioned it. He said you attract it. Is that what you said? By preparing yourself, reading your books, by putting all your effort into whatever you are doing, right? Those are where life opportunities come from. I'm sure he's going to expatiate on that. And he also did say one thing again about if you want to hide something from a black man, you hide it in the books, right? Majority of people do not read, right? So if you don't read, how can you attract these things, opportunities to yourself? So it's not just being in the office, they tell you this is what you should do to design and so on, and you do not go outside your way to actually test it out, learn more. At the same time, try and put your own innovation into it, because it's very, very important. It's not just a technical thing, and he has already mentioned it, and that is why he's where he is now. Please give me a round of applause for that. Thank you.
Indeed, Dr. did very well. Really appreciate your presentation. This is a food for thought for senior partners, business partners, firms. What we have seen in the industry is that we try as much as possible to train young people. I give an instance. What's important is passion for the profession. Willingness to get committed to service. I recall a young man visited my office many years back, and he said he wants to work for me. And I asked him, what did he do? He said he can draw. What do you draw? He said he draws blue lights. And I'm a civil engineer. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't employ you. He said, please, give me a test on how to draw a building plan. And I gave him an opportunity. He drew that building plan using his skills of AutoCAD. I can tell you today, he is my lead engineer in civil structures. Well, how did he get to that level? It was because of the passion he has, that commitment, that dedication. So, and that's the future and the vision of FIDIC. And that's why the name Young Professional has been renamed Future Leaders. Because the whole idea is that we are phasing out. And then you are the future leaders of the industry. And so I look up to you. But we don't have commitment from you. We don't have that dedication from you. Then you are making our future very bleak. And so we're concerned about it. And I know so many have suffered a situation where you with good intention, you train young engineers in various softwares. Their focus is not to work for you, but to just get the knowledge and disappear. I have that experience as well. I can speak to you. I have certificates on South Pole. About 3 certificates are still lying in my drawers till tomorrow. And the young men have refused to come back to pick the certificate. Even when I buy it, beg them, please, come and pick a certificate. But because they bolted out without due diligence or due respect, they walked away on me. So that's how they got something. So that's how the kind of young people want to train. That's how the kind of leaders want to train. So want future leaders who are willing, who that, for instance, and CA Council said one of his staff has just been made a managing partner in his firm. And what I keep telling myself as well is that I also retire. So be ready to take over. As a matter of fact, when I took over the position as the president of ACEN, I told them, I'm sorry for next 2 years, I'm not going to work anymore. So you take responsibility, handle the project. Like I told you, the project I had it. I've not visited the site today. It's a project management job for Total. And I've not to site. The first day I went to site was when we had the general meeting with the community. After then, the projects have been going on. And the begging, please go in after to come. That's what I tend to go there. When the progress, you're making progress on the project. So that's exactly what we're doing. So when you have those future leaders who are going to take over from you, then you can go to sleep. And like the president has said, when you get a point where you can relax and say, well, let us, there's our debate in place, then we can be sure that there's a future for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the responses. And some of them are not actually surprising. I expected them. Let me start with the one from Mike. I remember when I was a student in Ahmadu Bello University, whenever we were at home, we organize ourselves in my emirate, and I happen to be the president. What do? We used to go and teach in secondary schools, free of charge, just to assist. And somebody asked the same question that you're asking. He said, how can somebody be successful? A student, he asked this question. This question you ask is very important. That's why I started with you. You see, somebody said, what is luck? Who knows what luck is? Can somebody answer it for me, please? Luck.
Luck is when opportunity meets talent.
Okay, somebody? Okay, Inka. Good. That's interesting. This is just it. There is nothing like luck. But we know as human beings, sometimes you can even labor, but if God doesn't, but if you don't do it, you're already on the negative side. So you have to prepare. And that's why we started with preparation. And please, I would just want you to know something I have not told you earlier. I'm in this profession not by maybe nobody asked me to join consultancy. You know the history? It started when I was in the Canadians in the university. Actually, somebody came and we are trying to do what just like a magazine which will have our faces, the Facebook, not this Facebook they are talking about. And the students in my class approached me to write an article. And I went to the library, I was searching for what to write. They just gave me open book. And I saw a book on where engineers can work. And I said to myself, I want to be a consultant. So I'm just coming back to the point that, you know, houses, they have a saying that say, don't come marry your parents in houses that when you say you want to do something, it's much more than when you swear that you want to do it. So if you are coming in here because you thought there is money, so and so, you will succeed. No, life opportunity is not locating you just because you are Engineer Buga or you are Engineer Bayo Diola or something. You know, you have to really prepare. This is very key. And where you are today, you can move to the point you want. Today, just go back and start. And secondly, I would like to comment on Engineer Benga Ajayi. I know we have been relating for years, at PD, and this thing he's saying, I really liked it, and it's also part of my passion. Because I know if you don't train, you don't do whatever. Engineer Bayo here, our father, you might not remember, but I remind him something. In 2010, we went to India, and we were sitting on a table during lunchtime. And he asked someone, I don't know whether he can still remember it. Anyway, he asked someone who is a senior engineer. He said, why are you not bringing young professionals like Buga? And you know what he said? He said, you know, when they train, they will just go away. You see, this is the aspect of talent management. You can't hang people to remain with you. It's your duty. One, what type of recruitment are you doing? That's what talent management is all about. Don't think because you give somebody a job, he must stay with you forever. No, it's your duty to retain him if it's good enough for you. So you have to have this as a plan, not by accident. So I don't want to hear somebody say, if you train them. Anyway, apart from talent management principles, even if he leaves, he's going to another firm. So he's still within the industry. So please don't get discouraged, Engineer Benga. I know you are not. And I encourage all, please don't have that mindset that I train them, they leave. Don't have that mindset, please. Train them and show commitment that you have interest in them. You see what will happen. I know we have problem with the young people today, but who is to guide them? Can they guide themselves? No, they can't guide themselves. I will come to Yinka's question, which is related to this. Attitude. You know, I started with attitude. As somebody who is running a business, I remember they asked Steve Jobs, sometimes, say, what do you do most? He said, seeking and looking for people. So it's your duty, somebody who is in business. There are people, yes, you can train anybody, but if you want to move fast, you see people who have passion and they are ready. And I will tell you another thing that happened to me personally. About 20 years ago, I was on a site and I was the resident engineer on a road project. And the senior engineer is not always around. So I was the person that does everything in terms of knowing what is going on the site. So the contractor, even at that time, they used to bring certificate that is up to about 500 million so for me to sign. If I don't sign, nobody will sign because I was the first person to sign. What came to my mind, I said, somebody was asking me, how much are they giving you? I said, I don't need their money. And I told myself, I didn't talk to anybody. I said, look, if I call them today, they might give me maybe 10 million today. Tomorrow it might drop to say 5, maybe next it will be 2. Maybe one time I will come and say, no, we don't have money. And that's the end. But I told myself that if you keep to your profession, money will follow you. You see, when you say, look at my wallet, it's not very big. So it's not that I have a lot of money. It's not so. But I have values, and I know I can always work and earn what I want to earn. So, Yinka, this is a serious issue with the millennials. But who are to blame? We are to blame, or our elders. We all know, even me at my age, I know how I've been going to school. I mean, how I went to primary school, my parents doesn't even care. Even though I know there are changes now, but we see parents now that are buying certificate for their kids, and you want them to become passionate. So these are the problems. But still, if you identify those ones with, start from your home now, and start from your community. I've already started with a group of, now I have a group of young people who are in secondary school. I used to send them, I select books and information that I used to send them, and I ask each and everyone to read and summarize and give it back to me. And it's yielding result. You'll be amazed. It works. Just try it. Then, I think on a general note, I also thank Engineer Charles, our past president, to summarize, followed by our current president. You see, the same language all of us are speaking. I'm still way back a small boy as far as they are concerned, but we are speaking the same language. So, if you are ready, if you are really ready, life has valleys and hills, but don't chase money, please. Come with a passion. There are people who they work in government and they are blocking us. At the end of the day, they will come and they want to register as consultant. There is no harm in that. But let me just tell you that you have to labor for something. This consultancy is not just about they call you engineer Jack or so and so. No, it also has a training that you pass through to where you are. And please, whenever life is too hard for you, remember those values we talk about. I've been passing through them. Nobody knows. Nobody will know. I passed through them. I passed through valley. I passed through hill, and I continue with my life. The most important thing is to keep those values and to project that confidence. That's the energy you are seeing in me. Because I know my success is not in your hands or in anybody's hands, but I have to do something for myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure if you give Engineer Abuja another 1 hour, he has to get them on board. But all good things must come from there. So the gentleman who is worried, I have some few quotations for you. There's a saying that some are born great. In other words, there is the son of colonialism. Yeah, he's born great. Some acquire greatness on the way. In other words, they work for it. And some have greatness trust on them. They're just sitting on their own. So maybe in the choice of who your father is, who your parents are, maybe in the choice of place, there might be things outside of our control, which you might call not. But the one that is in your control is the one who acquires greatness. Because, like Engineer Abuja said, it decides to go outside. It decides to go outside. It might not get to the ultimate, because there's something that guarantees that effort will always get to the ultimate. If I try to make a footballer out of me, you will take me from 5% footballer to 20% footballer. You will have improved me. But I'm never going to play a kind of one or a community job. In other words, by that's the good part. So we have to use the example of the generation. We will rather belong to people of the faith. If we need a judge, I have two identical. So take your own. Stop worrying about those who are lucky. Stop worrying about the son of the senator, or the son of the president, or the son of the state. He was born into it. There's something you can maybe you presented your father. So some are born great. Some have it by luck. It's just trust on them. They walk into it. They run into it. It happens. We don't know how they got there. But the one within our own portfolio is a different acquisition of greatness. You go outside yourself. Because I don't admit to you that some are born great and some have it thought of yourself. You might be born great. But that person is in the course. Yeah, they exist. But the one that is in your own portfolio, or my own portfolio, I don't know if it's a Thomas father. And my father was not the minister. And most of us here, I think they decided to drag you into their own wickedness. And then you drop out of the leadership side. That's what it is. That's what it is. So please go on talking. They won't follow you. A few of them will. When you are visiting that newspaper, they are the party. That's what they would rather do. And it's okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Sorry. Thank you.
Very nice. Announcement for tomorrow.
Well, I have not been called, but like Nigeria-ACEN said, some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. I've decided that I'm going to take this greatness thrust upon me. He did say that Engineer Abuja did not look at the internet, and I've searched the internet to find the shortest way and the best way to say vote of thanks, but I can't find it. So please rely on what I'm saying off my head. So the internet is not useful to me this time. I will say my name, F. Ajibade. And the last program, the fourth announcement, was that the vote of thanks. So I want to say the vote of thanks, and I will say, my president, all past presidents, led by Sir Amana, including the keynote speaker, Engineer Rafi Dadi, and all presenters, including the goodwill messengers. I remember the goodwiller who told us that before we do anything, we must know that what we are doing is not giving negative effects. Like making sure water is closed when the parents want water to be far away for them to do something business. And I remember also the response of our own president, the president of NSC, Engineer Babagana Mohammed, who says that, well, if they call the like of Engineer Charles Akedayomi and Engineer Bayo Adeola, they will give them solution that will make the children, even though the water is closed, that will make the children wait for as long as the parents needed to do whatever they wanted to do. So, they have had a good time. And I must say that we thank God that it's been very successful. So that is the first thing I want to say, that is thanking God. Well, I thank all the paper presenters, like I said, but let me mention that Engineer Echo had a very fantastic presentation, and of course, Engineer Imana was the chairperson, and we have to thank them for giving us that leadership. And Engineer Bayo Adeola suddenly became chairman emeritus. Today, chairman of this, chairman of that, chairman of those. Huh? Now, wow. So I think I have to thank you. Bayo Adeola has been a mentor to so many people, even including those that are older than him. And I must say I'm one of them. So I thank you for being what you are, for being who you are. Engineer Charles Akedayomi. So I'm surprised that he didn't bully too much today, but he has been so useful to us. So thanks. Whatever happened to you yesterday is sharpened you for today. We thank God. Engineer Ibrahim, you have done so well. I wish you presented this thing to me when I was 24 years ago, in 1972. So that you will be in a position to also mentor me along. But don't worry, it's only when somebody talk about opportunities and then the division of opportunities. So I'm opportunity to be here today and I will use it. Don't worry. Well, I must thank the rapporteurs led by Engineer Ajayi, and of course the exhibitionists who kept us wrapped up for almost 1.5 hours, even though we actually were there for 2 hours, for 20 minutes with them. The MC, who has this, now is around. Of course, I know it cannot go because they have to be very close to us now. Not for anything. I didn't say you wanted money, but it's okay. If people thought you are waiting because of money, they don't know you. I know you are not doing free of charge. The organizer, I mean, they have done very well. COVID or no COVID, whatever it is. What is the other word? NSAS or no NSAS. You have brought us in here together for a very good. I think, please let me give them a round of applause. They are fantastic. Members of the press, who put us on Facebook. I tried to open Facebook, I couldn't see it. But you know, I'm an analog person. I'm not a digital person. So if all the digital people have seen it, then everything is okay. So members of the press, we thank you very much for being there. So everybody that are here up to this moment, you are fantastic. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you. That's the end of my broadcast.
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. You will agree with me that it's been a very, very wonderful day. The first day of ACEN's conference and annual general meeting. I want to, first of all, say a very big thank you to all the officials that have made today a very, very big success. The program continues tomorrow, and you can be very sure, I'm sure we all have a copy of the program. You can be very sure that the activities lined up for tomorrow are as fantastic as what we've experienced today. I can assure you that we will have not fewer than 3 ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria here tomorrow, and possibly the Vice President of Nigeria. We'll have a plenary session tomorrow, and we're going to be driving messages about the ACEN Endowment Foundation. I'm sure the target is 150 billion. After which we have a lunch, and then at 2:30 we will be for ACEN members. We will be having the annual general meeting at 2:30 to 4:30. Over the years, it's been our practice during the first day of our conference to have dinner at the first day of the conference. But you will agree with me that the recent developments with lockdown arising from COVID-19 and the recent MSAS protests didn't suggest quite well that the move in the country allows for party. To this extent, kindly accept our apologies. We will not have dinner for today. Be that as it may, we will ensure that you have a wonderful experience tomorrow. And tomorrow's program starts at 10 a.m. Though networking and exhibition starts at 8. Please, I would like to request that we are here on time so that once again, I say thank you to each and every one of us, and trust that tomorrow morning we will all be prompt for us to start the program. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.